My name is Dhananjayan Rajendran and I've completed my Masters in Education Studies at UWS London. I graduated in October 2022. Initially, when I started having the idea of, doing a master's degree abroad, so I was doing a bit of research and stuff like that, which is when I came across, the UWS London. So I had a little bit of groundwork and research on what the course is all about and things like that. And that is when I got in touch with the Education Group London. And so they gave me a bit more about what exactly the course is, how it's going to help me in improving my career and stuff like that. Because I already have a bachelor's in education, but if I'm able to do a master's in education and when I go back to India, or even if I want to move to any other country, so this would add a lot of value for me. Plus the modules, whatever the course was offering, was way much higher than compared to all the other universities across London. So this actually meant to be the right decision for me, and the education group actually helped me with that. So initially when I had the idea of getting into this course and all that, I did have a lot of questions about right from talking about careers or how exactly I'm going to move into a different country, establish myself, because I'm 30 plus years old and till date I've never moved to any other country. I've never been anywhere. So this was my first international visit. So trust me, it was really challenging when I initially thought of moving in, but this was an easy journey for me because they made me feel at home. Trust me, UWS is one, and it was one best decision I've ever made in my life. As I told you earlier, every step that we take was guided. Every step that we had been through was always constantly monitored. Somebody was there to handhold us because they knew that we are here for the first time. Many of the students in my course, they were here in an abroad country for the first time in their life. So we did have a lot of challenges, right from how to use the public transport, how to get from here to there. Initially when we started the hybrid learning, so it was going on in many places, but we were experiencing it for the first time. So initially speaking, we did have lecturers who were teaching us from Scotland. We did have lecturers who were teaching us from London, and we were a combined cohort. So we had students from Scotland and we had students from London as well. So hybrid learning was definitely beneficial for both the group of students because we were able to get trained under the same lecturer at the same time. So there was no difference in communication and stuff like that. So it was all maintained in a parallel way. So that was really good. And apart from that, even there were a few people, as I told you earlier, who had genuine concerns about safety and COVID and restrictions and things like that. So in such cases, hybrid learning was really beneficial for us because even at home, we were still able to get the same quality of education. And apart from that, when we are on campus, we had additional support because we were in person, we were able to get in touch with. The learning was a little more active when we were on campus. And on top of that, we did have the chance of doing a lot more activities when they come into the college, right from making posters or presentations, individual or group discussions, because online it's a completely different field. But when we come in person, and the best part was even the students who were back home were able to visualize whatever was going in the class, which was motivating them to come to the campus and forget about all the rules and regulations. So it was actually fun in the beginning days, and gradually it became the best experience. So I graduated on October 2022, and immediately the next month I got into as a lecturer in a sixth form college in East London, and it has been an amazing experience because trust me, so I have been a teacher since 2016, so I've taught in India for roughly 5 to 6 years, but this is a massive change in what I had been doing earlier because here everything is modern, use of technology. Students have access to everything even during lessons, because in India it's more of we teach and they go back home and they do the homework and then come back. But here during the lessons over here, most of the lessons are smart lessons. Students have access to laptops, smartphones during the lessons. So anything and everything we say, immediately the students have an option to verify. So we should be really confident in what we are doing. We cannot just bluff something and just get away with it. So that's one thing which is, as a teacher, it motivates me to learn every single second. Every second I get into a class, I should be very conscious about the words I use. So those kind of stuff. And apart from that, the being ready for a lesson. So that, I could actually feel that more when I moved in over here. And apart from that, even the quality of the discussions that we have with the students is of a much higher level. Because here we have students from different backgrounds, different countries. It's not from one nation, but in India it's mostly people within the same nation. But London, it's a hub. It's like a hotspot for students across the world. We have people from Asia, America, Nigeria, African countries. So every part of the world, we have students over here. Each one has a different caliber. Each one has a different, a level of learning and all that. So balancing everything is a really challenging task, but I've been able to do it. So as I said earlier, so since 2016, that way of teaching was a little bit different. It was a bit straightforward. We had a typical textbook that the students follow. So usually as a teacher, my role was to make sure I deliver everything that is there in the textbook for the students, and even the exams were based on the textbook. You have the same typical questions. It can be a little bit of high order questions, but most of the things were revolving around the textbook. But here in the UK, the teaching system is a lot different because here we don't have a set textbook. It's more of reference books. Students tend to refer to the books to get back to the answers. So here, the level of learning should be much more broader, okay? And most of the courses that the students over here do are based on exams plus coursework or assignments. So they are, trained to do a bit more of academic writing. So they have to put in their ideas and knowledge on paper, which is not really into practice in India, but here that's a really good thing. And UWS has actually trained me in doing that because most of the units that we do were completely dense on coursework. We had to write essays of 6,000 words, 5,000 words, 12,000 words, and with plagiarism less than 10, and I've always maintained less than 10. So yeah, I mean I've been able to do that. Okay, but maybe I would plan to stay here for a few more years, get a few more years of experience and knowledge, because knowledge and experience, the more you gain, the better it is. So if I'm able to be here for a few more years and then go back home, put all this into my own institution, even if it could be a primary school or whatever, but something to say my name, something where I can share my knowledge and learnings, whatever I gain from the university or the work experience and everything, I'm sure it's going to add a lot of value to my country. TEG Club has been a really, really, really amazing part of my life because being in London, I was like, a bit nerdy. That's how I would try to say describe myself, because I was always into studies, or once I'm done with my studies, I just do my work and things like that. I was not really enjoying the life in London, but TEG opened my eyes to that part. Taking us out on travels, taking us to parties, or even having small gatherings or get-togethers where we get to see each other as students, or even have a get-together with the faculty or working over here, more on the fun side, rather than just sticking on to studies, books, textbooks, papers, writing, and things like that. TEG opened my eyes to the different part of London, the part where we can actually have fun and still learn and enjoy. So that was really amazing, and I'm thankful for that.